Violence. Violence that happens in the home. I grew up with a level of domestic violence. At times before my parents got divorced, when we were all cramped together, uh, and my father was very pushy on wanting to have family dinner, and if the table wasn't right or if him and my mom were arguing, there would be a level of domestic violence. Not that extreme, but at times extreme. At one time, I do remember calling 911. When people are in close quarters and they really don't get along and they really don't have a healthy foundation for a healthy relationship, but they stick their head in the sand, then when an opportunity or an environment presents itself like it does now under a national emergency where everyone's pretty much quarantined to their house, it shows that they're in an unhealthy relationship and it explodes. But it doesn't explode out of nowhere, because my parents were very much different people to a certain extent. And my mom probably put her head in the sand, so did my father for years. And they let it boil to a certain point. When this state of emergency first happened, one of my viewers reached out to me and said, Sam, I'm thinking about all the women going through that or that will go through domestic violence. Now, she was a woman. She was speaking from her perspective. She may have been in an unhealthy relationship. There have been people that have reached out to me, a couple of women that reached out to me prior to the national emergency. They related to my living in a car videos because they saw living in a car as their way out of a unhealthy relationship. And I told them before the virus, before the epidemic, that when is the time to get out of a healthy relationship? Immediately. Because eventually, when a situation gets stressful enough, your foundation shows. It's like, if you live paycheck to paycheck, eventually, like if something happens, you get laid off and you don't have emergency fund, your financial condition shows. Many people are experiencing that too now. And even like, harassment online, or people have been emailing me about that. I mean, a couple of people felt an unhealthy environment. Even these live chats, people can get unhealthy because they attack one another emotionally. People have attacked me. I've been a troll is online violence. Okay. So domestic violence is violence that happens in a house. Online violence is emotional abuse by other people. And as I say, many people who come online and they're trolls, they are people who either grew up in an abusive household or they themselves are just an abuser out of nowhere. They got some bad mental health or something. Violence manifests itself in many ways. The first way it manifests itself is internally. When someone's high stressed and they don't take their energy and put it in something productive like working out or, again, doing something productive, they become self-destructive. And suicide is the last resort. Even though many people, even like myself, sometimes look, I say life could be crap. I can understand why people do suicide. Most people will never do it. However, most people will put their anxiety, their worry, their burdens, their stress on other people. They will either guilt trip or attack or fester off one another. At this point in my life, I really don't get involved in between domestic violence. I will call the authorities. Certainly, if I saw an extreme circumstance, I would evaluate. But there's been times in my own household that there was domestic violence, not between my father and my mother, but between my two siblings. And instead of me getting involved, I call the cops because, when you get involved in someone else's drama, you destroy your life. There's been people that try to get me involved in their drama online. Don't do that shit to me. You know what I mean? Don't do that shit to me because I'm not your friend. Okay? Because one is, unless I did something to you, don't blame me. Okay? Because I didn't do nothing to anyone. Okay? And all of my videos are marked for adults. Okay? I purposely mark my videos as for adults only. Okay? So, guys, I'm not a babysitter. Okay. I'm not an abuser, and I'm also not going to be abused. Okay. I'm not going to be guilt tripped. I'm not here to resolve people's issues. I'm sharing my life. Okay. Which publicly I got to deal with some drama. However, it's not going to last long because drama doesn't stay in my life. Because drama doesn't stay in your life unless you permit it or unless you instigate it. I'm not for that. Okay. Now, I talk about political topics and dramatic topics sometimes because that's part of life. Okay. However, I know through watching my own videos and listening to the context of my message, it's not about gossip, going after other YouTubers, meaningless shit. It has a purpose. It has a message. The only way to avoid domestic violence is not to participate in it and to not to be in an environment that you know it's going to happen. It may not happen when everything is good, when you're not quarantined, but if you put stress on anything, it shows the foundation of which that relationship or that thing is built on. And that's why I tell you guys, go on a journey, spiritually, financially, mentally, everything, because you have to build your life on some type of foundation. And establishing relationships with yourself first is key. Like, that's why a lot of people who aren't happy with themselves, they try to guilt trip me or they attack me online or whatever, and they think I'm going to put up with it or that it's going to affect me, but it's not, because the first relationship I worked on as an adult was myself. Okay, I'm at peace with myself, guys. Okay, so a lot of people can't say that, not sincerely. I still struggle with anxiety, depression, or just life, because that's life. Okay. However, obviously, I wouldn't share it if I wasn't at peace with myself. Okay. Because people who don't share their ups and downs, they're not at peace with themselves. They're trying to put up a facade. What I can tell you is this, guys. If domestic violence exists in your life, you had a national emergency before the national emergency. And I'm sorry to tell you, there's no president, police officer, or anything else. Now, look, they may have to come help you at some times. Once again, I've called the police when I've seen domestic violence in my own house and between my friends. But ultimately, as an adult, you have to decide to get out, to press charges, to leave, to work on yourself, etc. Very hard to do. I have compassion because it was hard for me to get out of certain unhealthy relationships. So I do have compassion. It's very hard to get out of something. I understand that. But all I could tell you is what I feel and what I've seen. And what I'm here to tell you tonight is I don't want to be involved. Don't get in the middle of domestic violence. Call the authorities, document, report, block, or whatever, but get away from it. Because I could see easily how you get sucked into drama. And sometimes, a lot of times, people try to suck me in. I'm not playing that game, guys. I'm not a babysitter. I told that to my own family members. I'm damn sure going to tell that to someone else I meet in life. Okay. We're all adults, guys. And if you don't like a certain environment, it's your job as an adult. Again, all my videos are for adults. It's your job as an adult to change your environment. So, what I could tell you guys, that domestic violence will go on the uptick during a national emergency because people are stressed more. Suicides will go up. People are stressed more. Still be a small percentage of the population, just like the people who will die from the coronavirus. But what stressful times tell us, and sometimes it tells me too, sometimes I learn something about myself. When you're under stress, what you need to work on shows. And, again, I'm human. So sometimes I say, Sam, I need to work on this in my own life. Okay. Like I say, I know, like even my living circumstance, this is an extreme stressful time for me as a nomad. Okay. But I've seen, like, look, and I knew I was taking a risk being out here without a self-contained thing. And so, obviously, look, I got to make adjustments. I'm not paralleling that to domestic violence, but I'm trying to parallel when you're under stress, when things are stripped back, you see where your weaknesses are. Okay. And, look, we could cry about it, we could laugh about it, or whatever. But we're not going to manipulate about it. We're going to address it. Or everyone has to address their own life, including me. Okay? Don't get in the middle of drama, guys. Don't be part of drama. Why? Because it's going to make your life more stressful. Domestic violence is drama on steroids. Like even last night when I talked about conspiracy theory, I said some of that is drama. Some of it's truth. You're trying to uncover truth and ask good questions. But some people, that's all they'll watch is conspiracy. Some people, horror movies, that's all they'll watch. I'm not mad at any of those things, but what I try to tell you guys is, look, don't destroy your mental health. Don't build your relationship on both of us like horror movies. Now, in my opinion. I'm just trying to tell you, rubber meets the road in life, guys. It's like, look, you know who you're dealing with. Okay. You know who you are. And if you don't know the answer to those questions, if you don't know who you're dealing with, and if you don't know who you are, that's where you start to build your life. That's where you have to start asking yourself. I can't answer those questions for everyone. Because like I tell you guys in many videos, we may be connected through like-mindedness, through similar interest, but we're all adults. We're all on our own journey. And we can encourage one another. And that's a blessing. I like that part about online. But like I told someone today, what I hate about online is there are also a lot of, maybe there's only a few percentage, maybe they have a lot of fake profiles, but there's also a lot of nasty people. A lot of people that aren't doing the work in their life and just blurting that stuff online is easier than working on their own life. And that's fine. But don't let it leak into your life. Why? Because your life. You have to be the protector of your life. You have to be your own immune system from the BS. Number one cause of stress is relationships, then money. Okay. So obviously, look, in times like this where a lot of people out of work, there's no money, there's more stress on a relationship, that's going to lead to more violence, either self-violence or domestic violence. Why do I like to live alone? Because I don't want to be involved in any of it. Carlos, brother, thank you for the tip. 499 super chat. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. Love to you, brother. Shout out to Miami-Dade. Made in Dade. So, guys, look, I think you get the message. That's how I feel tonight. Appreciate you, Carlos. And like I tell you, man, there's nothing like your home. I always tell people, people ask me sometimes, Sam, what's the number one thing you miss about having a house? And I don't miss much as far as, obviously, I don't miss the maintenance. I don't really like owning a lot of stuff. I like simplicity. The one valuable thing that a home has, whether it's your car or a building, is it's a sanctuary. It's a place of refuge against this crazy world, okay? This world can be great, but it can also be crazy. It's a give and a take. So the worst times in life is when you're dealing with the crazy world, and then you come back to your sanctuary, whether it's your car or a house, and it's violence there. It's domestic violence. Because then you're killing yourself on both ends. You got, you're burning the candle on both ends. You got drama in the world or crap in the world, and you got crap in your home. And that's what I tell you. I know many people that, as painful as divorce is, it's worth it. Just like I told my parents, they did the right thing by getting divorced. Because even if you lose financially or if you lose emotionally, you need peace of mind in life. Okay, you need it. No way around that. Okay. And you'll learn that in life. Same thing with your friends. You may want to impress people. You may like the hot girl or the hot guy or whatever. But at a certain point, At a certain point, you say, look, I got to have my confidence and my peace. And every unhealthy relationship steals both your confidence and your peace. So is it too late to get out of a bad relationship now if you're locked down? No. Hell no. Guys, if you're in a bad environment right now, you fucking, it's essential. Like they say, you can't leave your house right now unless it's essential. Guys, I don't know anything more essential in your life than getting out of an unhealthy environment. I don't care if it's a snowstorm, coronavirus, or a hurricane. Okay? Because your well-being is the most essential thing in this world. Okay? And stop trying to figure out other people's life. As someone who, I'm not perfect, I don't know everything, but as someone who has a level of insight by the grace of God and through some research, and I'm not saying that pridefully, I'm saying it for this reason, that sometimes, like I don't have the gift to be an NBA player, I don't have the gift to be an artist, I don't have a gift to be a great carpenter or a plumber. My gift is the gift of communication. Okay, I understand that. So sometimes you have the gift of communication. People look at you like their therapist or their life coach or inspiration, which is a blessing. But also, you have to be very cautious that they don't look to you to fix their life, because that's an unhealthy relationship. And I had to learn that the hard way through my own failures. I am not my job to fix people's life. I'm sharing with you insights that I've discovered through my own life. If you can connect with them, apply some or all, depending on your own thing, of it to your life and then refine your life, that's a blessing. But I want anyone, especially if they're similar to me in their gift, I want everyone to understand your job is not to save someone else. You will destroy more people trying to save them. Your job is to be your best self. And that starts with setting an example, okay? Setting an example for your children, for yourself, for whoever. Because, there's also been a lot of parents that have reached out to me, and I appreciate it. They got their kids are dating some disaster. And what I tell them is, look, were you in that same type of relationship when you were younger? And even if you were, that's not your fault. They're adults now. They got to figure it out too. But the bottom line is, guys, you set the examples in your life. And have we all failed? Hell yeah. Okay. And everyone, including children, can't blame their parents at a certain point. They got to be adults. Not everyone does that. It's a very hard thing to do, guys. No one wants to adult. Okay. Everyone wants independence, but no one wants to work for it. It's very hard. It's a daily battle. Okay. But like I say, if you don't take care of yourself, someone else is going to have to take care of you. And let me tell you something. You don't want someone else taking care of you, because no one knows how to do you like you. Okay. That's why I masturbate daily. Color me bad. Do me, baby. Right? I do myself in many ways. And emotional support's number one. It's a blessing when someone encourages you. When someone, says, look, I appreciate what you do. That's a blessing. But if you don't learn to encourage yourself, you're screwed. Okay? Because you better believe there's going to be some people tearing you down or people dragging you in the middle of their shit. Okay? And even sometimes with my mom, I love her, respect. I tell her, I ain't getting involved in that, and don't put that on me. Okay? If you need help, we'll take these corrective actions. But don't get me in the middle of bullshit. Okay? Okay? And I tell people I don't know about that. Let's take a hydration break. All right, guys. We'll go all live comments. I appreciate the love, Carlos, man. Thank you for the tip, brother. I appreciate that. I had my salad tonight. I had a whole grain, a 4-inch whole grain roll with butter. Shouldn't have had that, man. I feel fat as hell right now. Sweet all live comments. Nathan, what's up, brother? Great to see you, man. Appreciate you. From Florida, what's up, brother? Great to have you. Love to you also. Fred, what's up, man? Hey, Sam. 4 videos in one day. Some of them are backlogged and just feeling it. Thank you, brother. Wow. Keep them coming, brother. I appreciate your support and I appreciate your comments. Thank you, Fred. Deb, hello to you. Great to see you, Deb. Jesus, what's up, man? Sometimes we have to mind my own business. Guys, no greater business than your own business. Okay. Obviously, again, if you see someone that, is obviously in dire need, you call the authorities or whatever, but you got to be very cautious to get involved in other people's drama. Like I had this one girl I know, and it's my own fault because I dated her and I knew she was like still getting out of a relationship. But what she would tell me was she would show me like screenshots of the other guy's text messages. Guys, I don't want to see that shit. I'm not Judge Judy, okay? You know what I mean? Like, guys, I'm not the type of person, like, I'm not taking screenshots of people's shit. If I got a problem with someone, I'm going to address it or I'm going to call authorities, okay? So if someone's, and that's how I feel. And I learned that lesson the hard way, my own fault. I ain't going to repeat that lesson. I am not getting involved in other people's shit, okay? If I treat people with respect and I have fun sometimes, all my videos are for adults. So if people want is either they get me and we're going to vibe, they're going to be on some childish stuff, they're going to have to figure something out with someone else, okay? Because again, I'm not Judge Judy. I'm not trying to date anyone. I like to be single. And that's why I like to be single, because I don't like to get caught in the middle of stuff, okay? I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to see anyone hurt. But I am not also RoboCop, okay? I'm not coming to your house to make an arrest. Guys, I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I got, okay? I'm not everyone's savior. And, you got to remind people that. Because sometimes, like, people put an unfair burden on you. Not right. From Florida, thanks for posting live every night. I'm doing the best I can. Appreciate you, appreciate me. Why are they only for adults? Because my content is based on an adult understanding of life, okay? I, respect the kids, and I think kids can learn a lot from me. But obviously, YouTube, one is they mandate. You have to tag your videos. Either they're children appropriate or you have to be over 18. And all of mine are tagged. They have to be over 18. You have to be an adult. Because I speak very directly. I speak from a perspective that you have to take what I'm saying in context. You can't just take out, if I make a joke about porn or something like that. A young person, they may not be able to understand that in context. Okay. If an adult can't understand that in context, there's plenty who can't. I don't know what to tell them. This is, you have to go somewhere else. No one's forcing anyone to be here, and no one's forcing you to be in an unhealthy relationship. I understand it's very hard to get out of things, but again, I'm not abusing anyone, and I won't be abused because I know emotional abuse when I get it. Sometimes it's a soft, subtle, subliminal, or sarcastic, or instigative comment, and they try to lure you in. Every abuse starts with a luring you in. I remember when I was young, I was riding my bike. I didn't even realize it at the time, but I say thank God when I get older. I remember I was riding my bike in my community, and I grew up in a suburb, basically. And there was a guy who, when I was riding my bike, I don't know what I was, like 9, 10 years old. He stopped by, like in his car, and he put a piece of candy bar on the seat. He said, "Hey, man, why don't you get in?" And I, from school, we were always taught to say no, son. I said, "Hell no." And I drove my bike off. I said no or whatever. And years later, I thought about that. I said, man, that guy was trying to abduct me. And I thank God. That's how easy life can change. My family would have been devastated. I would, and you think about that. You don't realize only by the grace of God sometimes, But I'm sharing that story, that real life story, to try to help you understand that every abusive situation starts with a luring in, okay? Whether it's a candy bar, a compliment, or sarcastic, and you have to say no right away, okay? Right away to the bullshit. Now, sometimes, because I could have easily, maybe I wasn't taught in school or I was just ignorant, I could have easily just gotten that. Sometimes you get into the middle of something and, you feel bad, and it's not your fault if you ignorantly got involved, but once you realize you shouldn't be there, you have to try to get out, okay? I don't want victims to blame themselves, okay? Because that's not right either. I'm just trying to encourage you that once you know you need to get out of something, you have to get out of something, okay? Because that's the ending and the beginning, it's where it all starts and begins. I appreciate the fire emojis from Florida. Thank you for the support in the comments, man. Thank you. Carlos, hey Sam, thank you again, brother. Happy to see you. Palm tree emoji to you, Carlos, man. Yeah, I heard today, man. I shared on a post, man. Florida's under official lockdown. One of the last states to do it, or one of the last major states, because Florida's a major state, man. And a lot of snowbirds like myself left early, even though I consider myself full-time Floridian. I would still be in Florida if it wasn't for my mom. I'm happy I came up to New Jersey. Not because I'm happy I'm here, but I think, look, obviously now it looks like we're going to be into this till May or June. So if I wouldn't be able to be up here, if God forbid something happens, I would have felt a little bit bad. So, but love to you, brother, and everyone in Florida holding it down, man. Bland, what's good, man? Shout out to North Carolina. I almost stopped at a couple campgrounds in North Carolina, man. Some good weather right there now in North Carolina, man. 70s. You guys are winning. What's good, man? From Florida says, hey, Carlos. Carlos, yes. Floridians in the house. From Florida, everyone spam Sam with the fire emoji. Thank you. Tony. Hola. I like that flower. I'm in Hawaii. Well, Hawaii's a great place to be, I think. Never been there myself, though. May I ask, what is your Instagram? I took it down because I was getting dick pics from crazy people on YouTube. So that's another abuse. You know, I was getting a couple direct messages from some people I was feeling. But the problem is, once you become no matter who you are, whether you're a public figure or private figure, you have to limit your access a little bit because people start to take advantage of your access. I remember seeing this in church. Like, people used to hound pastors to get access to them. They wanted to do private meetings. They always wanted to see the pastor, always involving the pastor in their drama. And sometimes I requested private meetings with my pastor to figure out some drama in my own life. Okay. So I'm, because a pastor is a helper. But I also like to just realize that you have to limit a level of your access because, you're going to drive yourself crazy. I remember even in the Bible where Moses' father-in-law told him, yo, you can't solve everyone's problems. You got to put someone else in charge of the petty shit. So, if I got an Instagram, if I got a YouTube, if I got Facebook, I got people message me about petty shit, okay? I can't, I can't deal with that and deal with regular life that we're all dealing with. I mean, my full-time job is not a pastor. If my full-time job was a pastor or a YouTuber, I'd have to deal with more petty shit. But I got to deal with other shit. So it's how much, if my job was Judge Judy getting paid a grip, okay? So if they want to pay me like Judge Judy, guys, bring me your complaints. What, did your neighbor scratch your car? Bring him on. I'll do Judge Judy. That bitch getting paid, man. But guys, I'm not Judge Judy. I'm thankful for YouTube. I'm thankful for my man Carlos giving me a supplemental super chat. But I'm damn near breaking minimum wage on this bitch, man. So, I mean, come on, man. Give me a break, man. I'm trying to do the best I can, man. Let me take a hydration break. Oh, shit. Trying to make me do everything. A disaster. Florida. Oh, another Floridian in the house. What's up, Carlos? Carlos fire emoji. Thank you, man. Carlos, what part of Florida? Mr. Smith, well, good to see you. Carlos, from Dade County, shout out to Miami, South Florida, man. It's a house, man. It's locked down, man. It's crazy. From Florida, Carlos made it indeed. Carlos laughing, thumbs up. Thank you again, Carlos. Mr. Smith, how's your mom doing? She's all right. She's a little bit worried. Okay, and I understand why. She's elderly, and she worries about me. But I'm thankful that I am close by, even though some days, even there's parts of today, it was a little frustrating. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my mom. Thankful to be close. Cameron, good to see you, brother. I appreciate you. Free Spirit. Sam, my brother. Hope everything is good. I appreciate that positive comment, man. Shout out to you also, man. Free Spirit. From Florida. Orlando in the house. I'm not mad at you. 704. Nathan, great video. Thank you, brother. And Carlos, man, thank you for your generosity, man. Don't take it for granted, brother. Thank you. Carlos, my pleasure, brother. Thank you. Josh, what's up, Nomad? What's up to you? I heard divorce rates shot up 50% since the quarantine began. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like I say, times of stress will make or break a relationship. It'll show the foundation that you're built on. Relationships are not easy to begin with. Like I often tell you guys, even when times are great, a relationship is still 50-50. It's like flipping a coin. It's like having Shaquille O'Neal on a free throw line, and that's going to determine your life course. Shaquille missed a lot of free throws, man. Marin, $1.99 super chat. A mood booster. Well, damn it, Marin, give me all the information from down in Florida, what's closed, what's open. Shout out to Senable Island. I got 2 super chats, both from my Floridians. My brother Carlos in Dade County, shout out to Southeast Florida, that's my spot. And Marin, Southwest Florida, okay? Home of Marin, Southwest Florida, Sanibel Island, $5 toll. Damn it, Marin, thank you for the mood booster. Thank you for the love. Quarantine yourself. Quarantine yourself away from any unhealthy relationship, man. And Marin's been through the ringer. Marin's been through the ringer in life. And Marin, you're a survivor. Keep surviving, Marin. We love you and I appreciate all your support. I do. Tony, much respect, Sam. Same back to you. I know it's very difficult being online when you're such a private person. It's a dynamic. Like, I don't want to bitch about it because, you know, I get rewarded for it. At the same time, I suffer for it. I try to find a balance, okay? Because like I say, I mean, I'm not getting Judge Judy rewarded, okay? And at the same time, I want to respect the fact that I'm appreciative if my gift can connect with someone. That's a blessing, not a burden. But at the same time, it is a burden to deal with relationships. That's why I'm single. So I'm in a dynamic where I don't like to bitch and moan about it because I do it to myself. But that's why I tell you guys right now. That's why I eventually, like, I thought at one time I wanted to be a pastor. But then I said, shit, I can't come to the church every Sunday and deal with the same shit. Because that's why I started, and that's why eventually I left the church. It was just like, it was too much of like the same shit. You know, life's a thin balance. I often talk about it on this channel. Like, one of the goals of life is to find a balance. And one of the balances of a good, healthy relationship, keep you out of violence, is your personal self-care time and time with other people, whether it's your significant other or online friends. And during this quarantine, you're on top of each other. And you don't have enough personal care time. And that's how you have domestic violence and stress. Like I say, there's online violence, emotional abuse. You know, people who leave nasty comments. I don't look at a troll as some young, immature kid in his basement. I look at them as an abuser. Okay. You know, it's someone either they came from an abusive household or they themselves are an abuser. You know, I don't take that lightly because it shows a mindset. You know, for someone to say certain things or to do certain things, I don't look at it like as frivolous. Now, I will say it's hard to tell sometimes online whether someone's joking, serious, or whatever. That's true. And that's how you get in a lot of trouble. So what do I go back to? I go, what do I vibe with? I have to trust my own instinct for my own life. I'm not, and I always try to be fair and say, look, I don't know if I'm always right by blocking people or doing it because it's hard to tell where people go. But at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do for me. And everyone else has to do what they got to do for them. And that's how you got to find a balance. Please, just remember you work for God. Well, I appreciate that spiritual encouragement. I do keep the faith. The faith has been a blessing in my life. You know, my mom reminds me of that. And not in a religious way, but in a good way. It's something that has blessed me and helped me. So, I mean, sometimes I question my faith, but it helps. So I don't want to also curse it because I'll be disingenuous to not acknowledge it. So thank you for that encouragement, Tony. Deb, the more stress on your body, the more likely to get sick. That's true too. It also weakens your immune system. And the more prone to domestic violence, abuse you are prone to. That's an excellent point. Jay Bird, never been happier than I am single with no kids. For me too, I agree. Again, I have met some people that if they're alone too long, then it's not good for them. They're social people. A lot of people are stressing right now because they're social people. They don't like to work from home. They like to be out. And I understand that. Everyone's different. That's what makes the world go round. So there's a lot of stress out there in society right now. There's a lot of anxiety. Anxiety, stress, it can lead to domestic violence. Or it can lead to self-violence. And you got to be careful. Forgive me for saying the name wrong. Teffy. Hey, Inspirational Nomad. Hugs. Thank you. Strength during these harsh times. Well, thank you for that positive comment from Florida. Sam, you're dang right, brother. Florida's Ron DeSantos said a Floridian stay-at-home lockdown. I know it, right? Sucks. Yeah, I mean, the whole world pretty much is in a lockdown right now. Shout out to my people overseas, UK, Spain, Australia. A lot of people, man. It's amazing I connected with them overseas. Italy. So, look, is it a conspiracy theory or is it real? Look, people are getting sick with it. Like Kevin Durant got it. Um, Capadon, who used to be a Wu-Tang Clan member, his mom supposedly died from it. So I don't know. I mean, supposedly these next 2 weeks are going to be the worst. I don't know, man. Look, I don't know everything. All I know is something's happening. Okay. All I know is I was sick. Whether it was the coronavirus or not, I got no idea. Uh, so, look, guys, you just got to deal with what you got to deal with and try to navigate your way through it, Mr. Smith. If any of you guys owe alimony, the ex-wife will get $1,200. Yeah, there's a lot of hairy things there. I don't know how that works. Like, if you owe alimony or I know basically what I read is that if you make 75,000 or less, you get 1,200, and if you make up to 99,000, you'll get 1,000. And then it changes depending on if you're married and if you have kids. That's what it's a one-time thing though. One thing they pressed Trump on today, they said, because he just also restricted some of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, where you could sign up online if you got laid off. Because if you get laid off, you can still go into the enrollment period, even if it wasn't November, which is the normal enrollment period. So he eliminated that. So a reporter asked him today, well, if someone isn't retired and if they're middle class and they get laid off, they can't get Medicaid and they can't get Medicare. And now if they can't go to the Affordable Care Act, how are they going to get health insurance? And he goes, well, we don't really have an answer. We're working on it. So you got to go back to, and what are you going to pay in Cobra? Anywhere between $400 to $1,200 a month. Guys, you go bankrupt. And you will, because number one cause of bankruptcy in America is lack of medical insurance, medical bills. And we still haven't fixed that. We got tax cuts for the rich and corporations, but the regular middle class, you're screwed right now if you don't have health care. And I've paid for health care my whole life. One of the biggest expenses you're going to pay for. It's a shame, man. Little people get squeezed, man. From Florida. Dial S for Sammy, my brother. You're doing good, man. I appreciate the positive comment. Thank you. Teffy, adulting is hard. It is hard. But in my view, I'd rather be an adult than a child because I didn't like being controlled by other people. I like to live by myself. I like to make decisions on my own. It comes with a give and a take, right? It's like, it comes with a burden and a blessing. So it is what it is. But I wouldn't want to go backwards in life. I wouldn't want to be 12 years old again. I wouldn't want to be 22. In my view, every season of life has its special moments. Like there was something special about being 14 years old and my mom watching me play basketball in high school or whatever, or hanging out with the guys, or being young and in love, or being 22 and getting your first job or whatever. So there's different parts of life that are very exciting. However, if you live the right way, one lifetime is enough in this world, in my opinion. No one wants to die, even if sometimes you hate this world. However, no one wants to suffer endlessly forever either. So what we all believe, or most people, is that hopefully no matter what's in the afterlife, is there's no more suffering. But a lot of people, man, they suffer more than others, man. I mean, and if you're in a bad relationship, you're suffering. I feel you. But the only answer is you got to get out. From Florida, Sammy, are you running out of ideas for YouTube videos and lives, or not coming up with good ideas? No, I'm never running out of ideas because I never run out of life. Life is always something to talk about. And when I don't have something new to share, I repeat a lesson that I want to meditate on. Meditation, okay, is somewhat letting the mind go and focusing on what's important, okay? And so habits are focusing on the same thing every day that are important, okay? So life is not always new drama, okay? Life is a series of consistent, habitual principles that you work on, okay? So for some people, they need something new every day. They jump from one relationship to another. They jump from one live feed to another. They're attention whores, okay? So from Florida, I'm not looking for attention whores, okay? I'm a stripper on YouTube, but I ain't no whore, okay? So what I can tell you is you either like the show, okay, or you leave the show. 100. Zelda. Bread expands fatty. Well, that's true. In cold weather, you want to get fatter because it's cold as hell. In Florida, you try and lose. Even though I think I lost some weight coming to New Jersey. But that's true. From Florida, Sam, always keeping it real. I'm trying the best I can. Blue Lily. Hey, Sam, hello to you. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate your comments today on my video, man. I hear you. I'm more at risk. It's true because I'm in the public more. Shout out to Canada. From Florida, gave me the Florida emojis. Thank you. And the snow emojis for New Jersey. Thank you. Cameron, Sam, be a lone wolf. I am. I'm thankful for my mother and other people in my life that I've connected with because you need some connection. You know, like I say, I used to go to Starbucks to work out of it and charge my electronics, but it also served as a social interaction, which is healthy for a person, even if you're a loner. With that gone now, it's you know, I can survive because for me, I'm mainly a loner. I have a healthy mind, healthy habits. But look, you know, when you don't have certain outlets, you have to be very disciplined in your habits, okay? And because, like, I make videos and I share with you guys, like, look, today I'm struggling. I hate this. I feel depressed. The weather sucks. Weather is a big thing for me. That's the hardest part right now I'm struggling with. Thank God today it got a little sunny at the end of the day in New Jersey. But one of the biggest things for me is I got to be around sun, man. And I got to be around warmer climate. The cold, windy, that weather fucking gets to me mentally, man. And it's tough. So, for me, like moving out of Jersey was like getting out of domestic violence. Again, not to make an exact parallel to someone suffering from domestic violence, but to make the example that an environment that's unhealthy for you physically or mentally is something that you need to plan to get out of. You know, that's why I said I'm selling my house in New Jersey, whether the market's at the top or not, because as long as I could cut free responsibly, this is not good for my mental health. And I told that to my ex-coworkers, etc. So like I say, as an adult, if an environment is not good for you, guys, a cop can break up the argument. A judge can render a verdict, but only you can change your life. Like even Judge Judy can't change your life. All she can do is render a small claims verdict for like, I think up to $10,000. Okay. You have to change your life. You have to change your phone number. Okay. Like I often tell you, what's the number one way you get out of an unhealthy relationship? You change your phone number. When I cut off my father, what do? I changed my phone number. Very few people have my phone number. Why? Because you have to limit access. That's why I shut down my Instagram, Facebook. You know, at a certain point, I got to limit access. Because you can only take so much, you know, of other people's stuff in your life because you got to deal with your own life. You have to be an example before you can help someone else. You have to get your own house in order before you can give advice to your children or anyone else. That's a full-time job the rest of your life. Never forget it. Forgive me if you're saying the name wrong. Tots88. Do you think more people will be forced to live in their car as an outcome of all this? I don't think so. There's definitely going to be economic strain. Right now, before the epidemic, there was less than 1% of society living in their car. So even if it doubled, 2 or 3% of society maybe, but it'll be a short-term thing till they get back on their feet. I've been through hard times in life, but you will get back on your feet eventually. And there are more government assistance programs now than ever before. Like you can't get evicted now for 90 days. So for 90 days, most people, I mean, it all depends on your individual circumstance, but for most people, you got another 3 months of living in a house. And this will give you time to figure out a plan or get back on your feet. So now there's going to always be some people that fall between the crack. But if you have the ability to work and you can work and society opens back up after this 3 months or whatever, get right back to work. But do I think there will be no, I said, because people ask me that even before the virus, people ask me, because I'm a nomad, do I think people will follow this lifestyle because it's freeing? And I said, no, because it's not sustainable. You know, nothing in life is forever, but it's a transitional lifestyle. Unless you get a fully self-contained RV and you want to be full-time on the road, or if you're young enough, and I'm still in that bucket, where you are willing to live a primitive life as a tent camper or car camper, you could do it for a couple years. I've done it for 3 years. But one of the things I've learned through this stressful time is that going forward, which I've always even said in my videos anyway, is that I'm probably going to upgrade at some point to RV or some type of home base. That doesn't mean you have to own property. It doesn't mean you have to buy an expensive rig. It just means, you got to make some adjustments. So you could buy a cheap travel trailer for under $10,000. It has no motor, so it's just basically wheels and a shell. So, what I would tell anyone, like instead of living in your car, I would tell them for $83, or I think it's even less, for like $75 a month, you can get the 1,000 Trails Camping Pass. And if you're willing to move every 4 days, you don't even need to upgrade. And you can have unlimited camping all year round with full utility hookups at a safe, legal campground. You have to travel a little bit, okay? But you get the 1,000 Trails Camping Pass. That's the beginner place. Get a cheap travel trailer. Get a cheap tow vehicle. And off you go. You're not homeless. You have a tiny home that you tow in a safe, legal place to park. That may be my next step. But right now, I still use 1,000 Trails. A little bit more challenging now with the restrictions. But I think that's a great solution. It may not be a long-term solution for some people based on your individual goals and how you want to live. But that would be a very practical solution for for many people. Now, for some people who have no credit, no money, no job, it's obviously, look, they can't go buy an RV or even finance one. So I can understand that. Then you got to go into a shelter, you got to go on a program, and you got to work your way back up. But if it's just yourself, guys, right now, DoorDash is popping. So you could DoorDash, you can make decent money, and after a couple months of DoorDashing, you can finance something. Okay, because you're a 1099 worker. You got money on the books. Anyone can do it. There's no job interview for a DoorDasher. Now, you still have to be professional. You have to have good customer ratings. You can't treat it like you got to treat it like, you're serious. But, that's kind of like my answer. Thank you for the question. Carrie Love from Wisconsin. Carrie, thank you. Also a Patreon. And love to you. I appreciate that very much. Great to see you. Shout out to Wisconsin, man. Everyone up there, love to you, Carrie. Thank you for staying with me. God bless you. Cameron, also a Patreon lover, man. Yeah, how will nomadic car life change when this is over? It's exposed. Okay, it's exposed for what it is. A transitional lifestyle. And in an emergency, you need a resource of where to go. And that's the only way you could be a full-time nomad and not have to be fully stressed is if you have 1,000 Trails Camping Pass, or if you're willing to pay for a private campground and they're open. But but for an older person or someone who doesn't want to suffer through the heat or cold weather, you're going to need some type of RV. So that's what I think it exposes. Good question, brother. Claus, $2 super chat. Secure my SS today, Social Security. I'm at that. So decided to share. Well, brother, congratulations. Well earned. Congratulations, Claus. Thank you for being a positive supporter also. Social Security in America is a program that was instituted after the Great Depression, which we may be going into another depression. It happened in 1929 in America. And the government had bread lines. You couldn't go to all-night gas station and get bread. They had to siphon bread. In America, the youngest you can collect Social Security is at the age of 62. The average Social Security, I think, is about $1,400 a month. Now, my mom, who got divorced, I think in her 40s, and then went into the workforce and worked like minimum wage jobs for the most part, I think her Social Security is less than 1,000. However, she was blessed enough where her father left her some money when he died that was the reason we were never in poverty. And my father paid child support. But what I can tell you is Social Security is a blessing, okay? And to know that, you're not going to starve and you have a secured income is humane. And I believe in UBI, Universal Basic Income. Now, again, will there still be people in poverty? Not, yeah, but at least Now, there's programs out there, even if you don't work now. I know I got family members on them that you could still get like SSI, which is similar to a Social Security before you can retire and you've never worked. But there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and I'm not sure that's the most healthy thing for society. I think the most healthy thing for society that will also take care of the middle class, in addition to the lower class, is UBI, which is a universal basic income, no games, no stress. You know you're going to have basic level of income for basic stuff to keep yourself alive, to keep a level of shelter over you, and universal basic health care. Okay. So that you know, as humans, we want a healthy society. Okay. You still have the capitalist system where you want to be a business owner, you want to be an innovator, you're going to get rewarded more. You're going to have a nicer house, maybe. You're going to take more risks. That's great. But right now, we're subsidizing the risk. And the people who take risk in the market, they're subsidized by the Federal Reserve. And the basic services aren't offered to humanity. Thank God we have Social Security, which is a socialist program, not capitalist. Thank God we have Medicare for our senior citizens. So, what I'd say, Claus, thank you. And Kerry, thank you. Cameron, thank you. Carlos, thank you. Marin, thank you. I think we get it. I think as we go forward, I think we're learning a lot as the global humanity. There's rich, powerful people behind the scenes. They don't know anything. They're may have their own sinister reasons. And that's, But my hope is that the world population, China, Canada, US, Australia, Europe, Spain, Italy. One is we're all connected. Two is, one is I speak for America. I think we're behind the rest of the world. I see like my brothers and sisters from Canada. I see my people like even from overseas, Europe. They may be struggling with the virus, some worse than US, but they have the basic services where they don't have to stress about the basic stuff. I mean, what's the sense of being the richest country in the world and you don't have basic stuff? I mean, that's a system that's just there to entrap some. Now, look, there's a way up too. I mean, I don't want to bash America, but in times like this, like I say, it shows your foundation. And I think right now we're in a point in American history, and I can really only speak for that because that's where I live. I don't want to start to misrepresent other countries. But, in American history where we have a system run by corporations, okay? And, a lot of times when you try to reform the system for more basic humane services, they look at the drug addict on the street that, we don't want to give the lazy person more money. Guys, that's the same, that is such a small percentage of all the people in the country. And that's such an extreme example. Just like you don't want people to say, I don't want, that rich fat cat, that rich fat cat to take all the money. They never say that, So, guys, look, the vast majority of Americans are middle class, period. And the wealthy don't need anything else. They're wealthy, okay? They have the resources to take care of themselves. The lower class need help, okay? There's systems out there, got family members on them. They got to jump through hoops. So the humane thing to do is to take care of the middle and the lower class, with basic services, okay? You're still going to be wealthy. At a certain point, does Walmart just got a government contract to make more healthcare gowns, Trump was talking about today. At a certain point, and Walmart sells all shit made in China. At a certain point, can Walmart make one less billion a year and we tax 10% of their revenue and dividend it out? Yeah. So, look, I think that's shown. I think that's a level of internal U.S. domestic violence. That we basically, right now that people are laid off, and specifically the middle class, if you don't have Medicaid and if you don't have Medicare, what are you doing for health insurance? You're going to go broke. You may have worked hard your whole life. And like Trump said, you're laid off for reasons not out of your own control. So, there's just a lot of improvement that needs to take place. That was long-winded. Here we go. From Florida. Hey, let's go to New Jersey because Florida is getting boring without the beaches. Well, everywhere is locked down, man. New Jersey, and there's some scattered parts in between, but everything's locked down. Marin, thank you for that mood emoji boaster. I appreciate that. Love to you and your husband if he's watching. Rick Floss, what's up, man? What's up, Sam? I don't want to get in a cruise ship. I could agree. Or a relationship. I understand that. If things go south, it's hard to get out. That's true. And you may be stuck for a while. That's an excellent parable. It's easy to get into a relationship. It's hard to get out. I've learned that lesson in my own life the hard way. And that's why I tell you, as you get older, you learn that more. That's why you really have to be discerning and even a little bit judgmental as far as who are you going to let in your life. And some people will say you're being judgmental. You're being, I don't give a fuck, as long as it's not like hurting someone. Like, guys, you have every right to be judgmental about who goes in your life. You're not talking about who gets basic services. We're talking about who comes into your life, your personal life. You should be judgmental as hell. Shit. So that's what I'll say. Be Judge Judy of your life, Marin. Home of seashells. I like that. Gulf Shores. I remember, it was 3 weeks ago. I was on the sandy Florida beaches. Every day, I did a video about it. I would put seashells in my hand and I would massage them. And I would be at one with nature in the Atlantic Ocean. You don't even want to know what I had in my hand today, okay? Let me tell you something. It wasn't seashells, okay? Soft breezes, I like that. Palm trees, I missed them. The damn barren pine trees in New Jersey. Total disaster. Justin Hang Loose and Hard, thank you, brother. From Florida. Love to all wish best for everyone. Thank you for that positive comment. Josh, I love you. I love you too. Cameron, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about this pandemic and economy? That's a great question. 8. I would say 8, 8.5. Okay. These next 2 weeks to 2 months will determine if it goes up to a 9 or 10. If it lasts 2 months on complete lockdown like we are now pretty much, it goes up to a 9. If it goes beyond that and there's a lot of death, if we go into August and we're still like this and there's a lot of death, or famous people die, that's when it's really going to hit home. It's not going to hit home until you hear about people that die. When you hear that, and if the economy's still locked down, it goes to 10. Will it restart? Yeah, eventually it will. Now, it will also go to 10 if we get attacked by another country during this. Like Trump tweeted today, like Iran may attack us during this. We're vulnerable right now. Because all of our resources are drained. But we mocked other countries for how long? That's why I say, some people say, we're tired of taking care of other countries. That's fine. But you had Trump who basically bashed other countries. He basically shamed Canada, into a trade deal, okay? He kept telling, how tough he was going to be on China because his economy was great. And he bashed Iran. He wanted out of that deal. He created enemies. He alienated our allies. So when the stock market's up, and no one cares about that. But now when we look vulnerable, guys, don't think that America, that has a population of 350 million, and there's a world population of 7.5 billion, 1.5 billion of that's in China, 1.5 billion of that's in India, and you got a bunch of other countries in the world, and some of which you've alienated that were our friends. Guys, you think people don't remember when you talk bad to them? I remember when people talk bad to me online. You think when Trump talks crazy to people, you think they don't remember that? So guys, you got to be very careful on the leaders you select. You think you're building up America, you're destroying its future. But a lot of people don't care because they won't be around. And that's why I tell all my young people out there, build your own country, okay? Because it's not, in 10 years, Donald Trump may not even be around. But the stain of lack of diplomatic grace, the lack of diplomatic grace that he used will be remembered by other leaders, by other countries. And that's why you have to, be diplomatic. I know Americans, we like to tell it how it is, and that's good. That's endearing. But you have to balance it with being a humanitarian, okay? Because if you think, just like Donald Trump, like I won't fuck with him because he like talks to you like he's some tough dad. I won't fuck with my dad. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like that's what, so it's like, I won't want to fucking be friends with Trump. I think he's smart. I think he makes some good points. But if he would have talked to me like he talks to me, I won't fuck with him. He thinks it's funny because he's borderline psychopath. But what I'm trying to tell you is, people remember. You remember. You remember how people talk to you. And you got to make a mental note. From Florida, thanks for the love and support once again, Sammy. I appreciate you also. From Florida, supports are all of you. Thank you. Nathan, will the economy be closed all month of April? Yes, it looks like way. Trump tweeted out 30 days more of stop the spread. The Florida governor issued a lockdown, and he basically said till about the middle of May. So I don't think you're even going to gradually start opening things up to the end of April. Originally, Trump said Easter would be reopening, but he's been backing away from that. So I think you're looking at May as the earliest of partly opening the economy. I think they're going to evaluate the data. I think if the data looks good and things are contained and we have the supplies, I think they'll open it up sooner. But if it goes sour and we're not able to build up our resources of medical supplies, etc., then you're going to regress. But here's the biggest problem, which will bring us back to a 10 of worry. Like Cameron asked, if we get to a point, whether it's in May, June, or whatever, or August or September, if we get to a point when we start reintroducing society and opening up the economy, you're probably going to have an uptick of infection again. Because if you think about it, if you let everyone back into the society and people go back to the theaters, the restaurants, the ball games, I mean, odds are people are going to get sick. So this is going to probably be with us till we get a vaccine. That's what they're pretty much saying. So that's 18 months, a year. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to be in complete lockdown for a year. But what I'm trying to say is, like right now, tomorrow, if they say, all right, we're going to reopen the country. And even if people are willing to go back into a restaurant, and some people will be, not all of them, consumers have changed their habits, and they will change their habits. People who used to go to Starbucks every day as a ritual, they may not do that anymore. Not necessarily even because they're scared of a coronavirus. Because it takes the average human 21 days to change a habit. And once you form a habit, it's hard to change it. That's why cigarette companies or even caffeine companies like Starbucks, they want to get you addicted. Because once you have a habit, it's hard to break a habit. And an unhealthy relationship is a habit. So, like, let's say like they reopen the economy tomorrow. If you went 21 days without having Starbucks, maybe you're not scared of the coronavirus, but maybe you say to yourself, hey, instead of spending $5 a day on Starbucks, maybe I'll just make my coffee at home because I've been doing it already for a month. Now you totally changed Starbucks market value. And that's on a big scale. They'll still survive, but the small coffee shop, they may not survive. So that's going to have a real effect on spending. Because once consumer habits change, it's hard to change them back. And that's the hard part about restarting an economy. Like they asked Trump today, like, are you going to stop all domestic travel? Airplanes, trains, because there's still some airplanes going out there, trains. And he said, look, I got it very limited right now. He goes, but I'm very cautious on stopping all travel because it'll be very hard to restart. And once you restart it, you're going to have reinfections. And then what do you do then? Do you lock down again? That would be crazy. So it's almost like you want to lock down now for as long as you think it's going to really contain it, buy you some time. Because once you reopen it and you got reinfections, to lock it down again, it would be anarchy almost. I mean, people will go nuts. You know what I mean? Like the first time they accept it because like we're trying to get a hold of it. But if you tell everyone like, oh, it's okay, go back into society, reopen the economy. And then in the people are close to each other again. They're at the gym. They're all getting sick. They're calling out of work. They just got back to work. Now you have a complete disaster on your hands. So we're in a very thin line here, guys, of when do you open it back up if you open it up back soon, you're going to have a reinfection. And guys, we're on thin ice, man. Alexander, take good care, Sam. Thank you. These are the worst times in our lifetime. Well, for me, I wouldn't say the worst, but they're most strange and restricting. But for some people, they may be the worst. It is my greatest hope that we will come out the other side better. Well, I appreciate your positive attitude, Alexander. Thank you for that comment. From Florida. Hi, Alexander. And Alexander says hello back. Mr. Smith, I'm joining you on Patreon soon. Well, don't feel pressured to do anything, guys. If you do, that's great. And thank you if you do, but don't feel pressured. I want everyone to do what they need to do for their own life. And thank you. Claus, thank you for the tip. Secure my SS, secure that bag, man. Shout out to everyone on Social Security, man. And I appreciate the love, Claus, and I appreciate your positive mindset. Tots 88, thanks, man. I enjoy your informative videos. No sugarcoat, thank you. You are the man for that. Thank you for the positive comment. Wish you great health and the best. Well, Tots, and forgive me for saying the name wrong. Thank you. I appreciate that. It means something to me. Carrie, thank you again for your love. I may do the nomad life when I move to Florida. Well, definitely a warm state is the way to go. If you're going to do the nomad life and things reopen, obviously you may want to travel out of Florida in August, September, October when it gets really hot and humid, or have some type of RV that has an air conditioning. And it's hard, but it's hard then in the winter time to find a place to park your RV. So you got to navigate it a little bit, but I love Florida. So I love to see you down there. Claus, Wall Street is getting in the way of corporations doing the right thing. To a certain extent, it's true. And there just has to be a more balanced system. Alexander, I always appreciate your wisdom. Thank you. Your generation and my generation, a bit ahead of you, have never been faced with the sort of hardships the greatest generation faced. I think this is our test. Yeah, well, I think the greatest generation is referred to as World War II, where they like stormed Normandy and they lost a lot of lives. And I think that was definitely harder than being self-contained. Everyone has their own unique challenge. So I think we're better off than that generation. So I want to be thankful for that. And yeah, I mean, but the bottom line is every generation should build from the previous and learn the lessons. And the biggest thing our generation has to learn is a level of domestic reform. Okay. So we're talking about a lot, I started the video talking about domestic violence, which means violence that happens in your house. So domestic reform is things that happen within your own country. Okay. And what I could tell you is when there's stress, you see your weakness. And from us going, if we said we had the greatest economy ever, and then we go into basically people are scared now, they don't know how long this will last, it shows that we didn't have the basic services, basic infrastructure to support our domestic well-being. And you can't blame international issues for that. And I think that's, something to be said about that. Zelda, laughing, you're funny, Sam. I try to add a little humor into it. Gotta laugh at life too, because it's crazy. Those were the sticky shells. Oh yeah. Lala, my birthday in 2 weeks. Well, Lala, aka Zach, you tell us when it's your birthday, we're gonna sing you a song. Zelda, you're awesome. You are too. You're hard not to love. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I remember telling a girl one time I was hard to love, but it was like self-loathing. Guys, look, don't tell people you're hard to love. That's self-loathing. I did that too. Nah, don't do that shit. That's manipulation. Claus, we will break over 1,000 deaths today. It's possible. Damn this crap. Yep. And, I take it in perspective. 3,000 people died per day in car accidents. No one really cared about that. However, this can spread fast, so you have to be careful. JB, estimated $90 billion as of today in unpaid mortgage payments. Like you said, printing money. Now I know why they raised minimum wage months ago. Yeah, a minimum wage to me is still very low. I think anyone willing to work and who does work should be able to make $20 an hour, adjusted for inflation, with basic health care, in my opinion. Very detailed. Well, what's up, man? We knew about this virus back in 2012. Well, I don't know. I didn't know about it. So maybe powers to be did. I really don't know. Good to see you, brother. JB, please, LMK, if you need anything while I'm I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm pretty good, but I thank you for that, reaching out, man. I really do. Thank you. Thank you. Blenda, uh, 214 cases and 5,000 dead in the USA. To get 100K dead, US will need to be at least 4 million cases. Yeah, interesting comment. I heard the guy, the head of the CDC, say he expects 100 to 300,000 people to die. And they said the next 2 weeks are supposed to be hell. So we'll see. I don't know. Rex, perhaps this link may be interesting, although not referring to domestic violence. Nonetheless, that's okay. Yeah, we talk about a variety of things. But a form of violence. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rex. Vlad, what's up, man? Do you know why virus spreads? Because people are still social beings. To a certain extent, yeah. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. Vast. The United States of America is a corporation, not government. Based out of Manhattan Island, public record, a corporation posing as a government is fascism. That's interesting. I don't know enough about that, but I appreciate your comment. JB agreed. Money back. Juan, how safe are prisons from COVID? I don't know. But I know they have released prisoners because they were non-violent or whatever, and they figured don't let the spread happen there, something like that. Thank you. Pluto, much love. Pluto, I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you, and again, all my Florines, I appreciate you, Pluto. Shout out to you and your brother. Illinois, what's up, man? Hope you're feeling good. Good to see you look like you're getting better. I am, and I'm thankful for that. A little cold today, so I got to be careful not to catch another cold. God bless you, Illinois. Vast. There was a scientific book written on the coronavirus in 1995. You can find it if you Google it. Well, and that's where we got to be careful with words, because the coronavirus is a generic name, I believe, for viruses that are coronaviruses. There's supposedly a bunch of coronaviruses. That's why they had to name it COVID-19. So I use the coronavirus in my title because it's the generic word that we all use. But a coronavirus is, from my understanding, is a general description of various viruses. COVID-19 is a specific strand of that virus. So coronaviruses have been around for a while, from my understanding. I could be wrong on that. Very detailed. Bill Gates went to Trump in 2018 and demanded he start preparing for this virus. Trump ignored him. Yeah, I don't know if that's fact or not. I know I did see a YouTube video of Bill Gates on TED Talk talking about a possible pandemic that we would need to prepare for in like 2015. Mr. Smith, before we love, I want to give a public, I won't mention the name, that's between you and her. But I hope that you guys are at peace, and I appreciate you. Like I say, I can only go off how people treat me and I interact. I got respect for you because you haven't been disrespectful to me, and I have respect to her because she hasn't been disrespectful to me. So obviously I don't, we were joking a little bit last night because that's what my channel's about, is adult entertainment. But I respect you because, again, you've been respectful to me and I respect her. So hopefully there's no issue there. Gerald, thank you, brother. Oh my gosh. I got here late, buddy, but I love you. Well, damn it, Gerald. Thank you, brother, man. Thank you, man, for being a sweethearted man, man. Appreciate that, man. I do, Gerald. Hang in there, brother. Shout out to you and your dog, man. From my understanding, man, hold your dog tight. They tell that. I don't know if dogs can dogs give humans viruses? I don't think so. But you got to be immune now. You spend all the time with your dog. Great to see you, man. Very detailed. Oh, yeah, Sylvia Brown. I saw that because Kim Kardashian shared that book. Yeah, she wrote a book. Some psychic lady wrote a book that a virus would kill people in 2020. Now, she had a book of a lot of prophecies. A lot were wrong and some were right. Or this one was right, possibly. Yeah, that's interesting. I did find that very interesting. Gerald, thank you again, brother. I appreciate the tip and you always being supportive. Mr. Smith, I was just joking. Yeah, no, I understand. Like I say, I'm not going to get involved in that. And it's hard to read people's sense of humor, even mine sometimes. Obviously, look, I didn't feel like anyone was threatening anyone, but I don't know anything personal. So I try to be fair and honest. I respect you because and I respect her. If I see something crazy, then I'll address it. But I don't want to get involved in something else that'll be between. But I appreciate you acknowledging that you want to offer peace and you want to be clear that you were not meaning anything bad by it. I appreciate that about you. And hopefully she feels the same way, and we could just move forward. Where did I leave off? Jay Bird. Bill Gates' idea of a vacation was reading college thesis to keep his thumb on the pulse of the world. Yeah, that's interesting, man. It's like one of those scary smart people, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? You don't know if he's too smart for his own damn good or if he's sinister, you know what I mean? So it's like he's always suspect a little bit, you know? Mr. Smith, dogs can't give us viruses. Well, that's good. I used to like to kiss my dog. But we can give them viruses. Well, that's not good. So don't let anyone touch your dog at the park. Well, yeah, I used to hate when people touch my dog. I used to get defensive. I agree with that. Tomasco and Mr. Smith. She won't hear the apology because she blocked. Yeah, well, you know, she can still watch the live feed. And look, if there's a disagreement with someone, if you apologize or if you don't get the opportunity, just part ways. Because the more you try to patch something up with someone that you don't vibe with for whatever reason, it just goes negative. Bottom line is we have to go forward and everyone has to address their own issues in their life. Let's stay positive. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully my video helped in some way. Thank you for your love, support, and positive comments. God bless you. Have a peaceful night as best you can, one day at a time.